So when it comes to this whole process of higher education, going to college, getting a degree, and then hopefully getting a good job that's going to pay you a good amount of money, we can see that it's a very inefficient process, right? The fact that you give tens of thousands of dollars of student debt to 18-year-olds with no guarantee of getting a good job, we can all see that there's going to be a lot of issues. Not only that, but you give them this, the tens of thousands of dollars, and when things are not going well for them and they're struggling, then you want to start talking about forgiving their loans without actually fixing the problem itself, right? Overall, this is just an inefficient model, and clearly it's not working. And I think a lot of people are starting to realize that, like, all right, there's other paths and that you can go to instead of like having to go to college. And me, I'm of the mindset that, instead of going from high school to college, what people should be doing, high schoolers should be doing is right from high school, just get into the workforce, right? Find what you like to do, right? Get into a career path or find a career path that you like and you find interest in. And then once you find that interest, then you can start talking about, getting certificates or getting degrees where you can actually further your education and develop more skills. And then hopefully in the long run, start making more money. Instead of going from high school to college where you're going to do 4 years in something that you think that's what you want to do. And then by the time you graduate, you're struggling to find work. And then years later that you're not even, the job that you're performing has nothing to do with your degree. And there's a lot of people doing that. And of course, you could avoid all this obviously if you can pick the correct career, right? Make sure you're pursuing the right career path, usually in the STEM field, right? Obviously, people are picking a lot of career paths where they're not going to make any money and you're just racking up debt for a worthless degree. So obviously, you can avoid all that once you're making the right decision. But clearly, we see a lot of students not making that decision. They're getting degrees in worthless, they're going to school for worthless degrees, and they're racking up a bunch of debt. But I came across this article on CNBC New York, and I think it says teens are losing faith in college, giving rise to interest in skilled trades. And everyone talks about this, right? They say, instead of like focusing on getting these college degrees, focus on skills, right? Trade skills, and where you can make more money, right? Because and these are typically like recession proof, where even if there's a recession and it's an economic downturn, people still need these type of services, right? Instead of going to getting these degrees, useless degrees, and getting jobs where you're always vulnerable to economic downturn. So we'll read this quick article and go over some of the things that they're talking about. So they say increasingly, worries over rising costs and large student loan balances are causing some high schoolers to make alternative plans after high school. A separate report by Junior Achievement and Citizens found Junior Achievement and Citizens polled 1,000 teenagers between the ages of 13 and 18 in July. So roughly half, or 49%, believe a high school degree, trade program, or 2-year degree or other type of enrichment program is the highest level of education needed for their anticipated career path. Right? And it says even more, 56% believe that the real world on-the-job experience is more beneficial than obtaining a higher education degree. And I think that's true. I think I've read many articles where a lot of companies are starting to get rid of the whole 4-year degree qualification. Right? You don't need that 4-year degree in order to get the job. As long as you have certain skills, then you can get these jobs. And this is why it's more important to focus on skills than trying to obtain that degree. Because you would think that if someone goes to a 4-year college, that they're obtaining skills. But in reality, they're not really attaining any skills. They're just, learning things. But once they graduate, the things that they learn is pretty much obsolete, right? So I think, and you'll see that a lot of times, like people graduate and then they'll still struggle to find jobs, even in today's economy. So the fact that I think more and more people are starting to say, we're going to focus more on skills rather than obtaining a degree is a good step forward into when it comes to the job market. So it says teens are starting to get a clear idea if they are not going to the college route of what the alternatives might be. Chief Marketer Officer of Junior Achievement Advancement in Artificial Intelligence and Technology Training has also helped change the equation for some young people. And it says, while cost is a factor, there's also recognition that you may not necessarily need college degree to be successful. And that's the stuff that they teach you. I mean, that they drill into your head, right? Like since way back when. This is where a lot of people say, college is a scam, right? They tell you that in order to be successful, go to school, go to college, get good grades, and then hopefully get a good job that's going to get you a lot of money. And clearly that's not the case these days, right? People are getting that degree, they're going to college, getting whatever grades, and they're still struggling to find jobs. So clearly that's not working. So I said the message is really starting to hit to get to young people. Between online credits and certifications, there are more career-connected pathways available at a lower cost. College is one pathway I can take, but then there are other pathways that wasn't as clear a few years ago. He said. So it says, now 86% of U.S. workers with education debt said their degree wasn't worth told that student loans had on their overall well-being. Further, 53% of workers said that knowing they would incur additional debt has prevented them from pursuing more education, according to Bright Horizons, fourth annual education index, which in May polled more than 2,000 adults who are employed either full or part-time. And that's the thing, if you can go right out of high school, get to work, and then, like I said, if you need further education, if you can get your employer to pay for it, that's obviously the best route. Instead of you going to trying to pay for it yourself, right, and racking up a whole bunch of debt. And I think that's a smart thing to do, because people, you got to make sure that you're getting a good return on your investment, right? If you're going to get a degree, you want to make sure that the job that you can get is going to be able to pay that that debt off in the long run, right? You want to get a job that's making that where your salary or your hourly wage is less than what the actual cost of paying off that debt. It's just not a good return on investment. You can see a lot of people, they graduate and they got a whole bunch of debt and they just never paid off. And then you got the government saying, all right, they're waiting and hoping for the government to pay off their balance, right, to wipe their debt clean. And that's just not a good sound financial strategy, but that's what a lot of people are doing. So it says, with college costs now nearing 6 figures a year and a ballooning student loan debt problem, more would-be students are pursuing careers in skilled trades. Over 2012 to 2021, the number of registered apprentices rose 64% according to data from the U.S. Department of Labor, especially in industries such as construction, public administration, and education. And that's the thing that I think that we're missing a lot when it comes to apprentices. Right? Apprentices, we need people to be able to walk into a place and then be someone to help work with them, right? To help them develop them skills, right? Somebody they're working under so they can learn the skill trades. But it's like we've kind of lost that. We don't have that anymore. People just jump right into the workforce and then they got to learn on their own, which is not the best way to do it. But that's what a lot of people are doing. But if you can have these apprenticeship programs where people are working under someone, and a lot of these skilled trades, this is what they do, right? Depending on if you're doing HVAC, plumbing, you're working with someone and they're helping you develop those skills. So I think that's obviously how a lot of it should be done. You should be working on someone, learning the skills of the trade, and then developing those skills, and then eventually you break off and then do your own thing. So clearly that's the right way to go. So it says from 2022 to 2023 alone, enrollment in vocational programs jumped 16%, the National Student Clearinghouse found. A shortage of skilled tradespeople due to experienced workers aging out of the field is also boosting the number for job opportunities and pay. The college affordability crisis and the rise of alternative career pathways together have helped transform Generation Z into the so-called tool belt generation, Jenkins said, and many are benefiting from the secure job track and higher earnings potential these vocational jobs now provide. And look, if this is what's really going on, and then obviously that's a good thing, because clearly, just the whole college route is just not a good bet anymore. It's just not. The majority of people don't need a college degree unless you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer. If you're not going to be any of these serious career paths, you don't really need that degree. You just probably need a certificate for whatever it is that you need, and that's it, right? It's just this whole process of going to school for 4 years and then graduating and not finding a job that's going to pay you well. Clearly, people are like, they're just not satisfied with it. So if this is the route that more people are going, I think the onus should be on companies to also, support this, right? Get people in where they can also provide that training and that apprenticeship, so these people can develop the skills and learn what they need to do in order to get that job. I think that would help as well. So yeah, I think this is a good step in the right direction, because the whole college route is clearly is not working. So those are my thoughts. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. Right, so guys, take care and have a good one. Later.